Story 1. I never planned on getting a dog that day. I already had two at home, a golden retriever and a beagle mix, and my wife had made it very clear that two was the limit. But life has a funny way of changing your plans. I've been going to the same dog park for about 4 years now. It's a nice place, about 2 acres of fenced-in grass with a little pond at one end and some shaded benches along the perimeter. The regulars all know each other. We know each other's dogs too. There's an unspoken community there, people looking out for each other and making sure everyone has a good time. My dogs love it. The golden retriever spends most of his time in the pond, and the beagle mix just wanders around sniffing everything like she's conducting a criminal investigation. I usually sit on one of the benches, drink my coffee, and watch them play. That Saturday started like any other. The usual crowd was there. A retired couple with their 3 corgis, a young guy who always brought his hyperactive border collie, a mom with her 2 kids and their dopey Labrador. Everyone was relaxed, dogs were playing, kids were laughing. Then she showed up. I'd never seen her before. She walked through the gate with a medium-sized mutt on a leash. Brown and white, floppy ears, looked like some kind of spaniel mix. Sweet-looking dog. The woman, not so much. She had this pinched expression on her face like she'd just smelled something terrible. She unclipped her dog's leash and immediately started scanning the park like she was looking for problems. She found one pretty quick. "Karen, excuse me, your dog is too close to mine." The retired man with the corgis looked up, confused. Retired man, they're just sniffing each other. That's what dogs do. Karen, well, I don't want your dog breathing on my dog. He has a sensitive respiratory system. The retired man just shrugged and called his corgi back. But that wasn't enough for her. Over the next 20 minutes, she yelled at almost everyone in the park. The border collie was running too fast near her dog. The Labrador was playing too rough. My beagle mix walked past her dog, and she actually screamed about personal space violations. Karen, do none of you know how to control your animals? This is supposed to be a safe space. The young guy with the border collie, lady, it's a dog park. Dogs run around here. Karen, don't lecture me. I know what a dog park is, but there are rules. Me, what rules are you talking about? Karen, common courtesy rules, basic decency. My dog shouldn't have to deal with all this chaos. I looked at her dog. He was sitting about 10 feet away from her, watching a group of dogs play near the pond. His tail was wagging. He looked like he wanted to join them, but was too nervous to move. Karen, stop looking at my dog. Me? I'm just noticing he seems to want to play. Karen, he doesn't want to play. He's a very anxious dog. All of your out-of-control animals are stressing him out. But here's the thing. While she was yelling at me, her dog got up and trotted over to the family with the Labrador. The 2 kids were sitting on a blanket, and the dog walked right up to them and laid down. The little girl started petting him, and his tail went crazy. The mom with the kids, "Oh, he's sweet. What's his name?" Karen spun around. Karen, don't touch him. He doesn't like strangers. The dog rolled onto his back for belly rubs. Karen stormed over and grabbed him by the collar. The dog's whole body language changed. Tail stopped wagging. Ears went flat. Karen, we're leaving. This park is full of irresponsible owners. The park regular who kind of acts as an unofficial moderator walked over. Big guy, very calm, owns 4 rescue dogs. Park regular, ma'am, I think it might be best if you don't come back. Karen, excuse me. Park regular, you've yelled at every single person here. That's not how this community works. Karen, I was defending my dog. Park regular, your dog seems pretty happy with that family over there. She looked back. Her dog had pulled free of her grip and was back with the kids, getting his ears scratched. Karen, fine, you can all have each other. I don't need this. She stormed toward the gate. Her dog didn't follow. She called his name twice. He didn't even look at her. Karen, whatever. He's useless anyway. She left. The dog stayed. The family took him home that day. Made it official at the shelter 3 days later. I see them at the park every weekend now. That dog runs and plays like a completely different animal, tail always wagging. He chose his family, and they chose him right back. Story 2. I've been driving for about 12 years now, and I've seen my fair share of crazy things on the road. Tailgaters, road ragers, people putting on makeup while doing 70 on the highway. But nothing prepared me for what happened in a grocery store parking lot on an otherwise ordinary Wednesday afternoon. A little background on me first. I'm a delivery driver for a medical supply company. I spend most of my day behind the wheel, dropping off equipment to hospitals, clinics, and nursing homes across the county. It's not glamorous work, but it's steady and it pays well. Because I'm on the road so much, I invested in a good dashcam about 3 years ago. Front and rear coverage, high definition, automatic cloud backup. My brother called me paranoid when I bought it. I called it insurance. Turns out I was right. That Wednesday, I had just finished my last delivery of the day and stopped at a grocery store to pick up a few things for dinner. The parking lot was moderately busy but not packed. I found a spot near the back, pulled in, and turned off my engine. My dashcam keeps recording for about 2 minutes after I shut the car off, a feature I never thought much about until that day. I was inside the store for maybe 20 minutes. Grabbed some chicken, some vegetables, a loaf of bread. Nothing exciting. When I walked back out to my car, I saw a woman standing next to my rear bumper with her hands on her hips. She was probably in her late 40s, wearing a lot of jewelry and a scowl that could curdle milk. Her car, a white sedan, was parked in the spot directly behind mine, nose facing my trunk. "Karen, there you are. Look what you did to my car." I looked at her car. There was a scratch on her front bumper, maybe 6 inches long. Me, I'm sorry, what? "Karen, you backed into me. You hit my car and then just walked away like nothing happened." "Me, ma'am, I've been inside the store. My car has been parked here the whole time." "Karen, don't lie to me. I saw you back up and hit my bumper before you parked." "Me, that doesn't even make sense. I pulled forward into this spot. I didn't back up at all." "Karen, I know what I saw. You're going to pay for this damage. A few people walking by slowed down to watch." I kept my voice calm. "Me, ma'am, I didn't hit your car. I don't know where that scratch came from, but it wasn't from me." "Karen, oh really? Then how do you explain this?" She pointed at the scratch like it was Exhibit A in a murder trial. "Me, I can't explain it because I didn't do it." "Karen, I'm calling the police. You're not getting away with this." "Me, go ahead." She seemed surprised that I wasn't panicking. She pulled out her phone and made the call, giving the dispatcher a dramatic account of how I had recklessly backed into her vehicle and was now refusing to take responsibility. I leaned against my car and waited. About 15 minutes later, a police cruiser pulled into the lot. A young officer stepped out and walked over to us. "Officer, afternoon. Someone reported a hit and run." "Karen, yes, this man hit my car and tried to leave." "Officer, sir, is that true?" "Me, no. I parked my car and went inside the store. I never touched her vehicle." "Karen, he's lying. Look at the damage." The officer looked at her bumper, then at my rear bumper. He crouched down and examined both. "Officer, I don't see any paint transfer on either vehicle. If there was a collision, there's usually some evidence of contact." "Karen, well, maybe it rubbed off. The point is he hit me." "Me, officer, I have a dashcam. Front and rear. It records even after I turn off the car. If I hit her, it would be on video." The officer's eyebrows went up. "Officer, that would be helpful. Mind if I take a look?" "Me, not at all." I opened my car door, pulled up the footage on the dashcam screen, and rewound to when I had parked. The officer leaned in to watch. The video showed me pulling into the spot, shutting off the engine, and getting out. My car never moved backward. Her car wasn't even in the frame yet because she hadn't parked there when I arrived. Then, about 10 minutes into the recording, her white sedan pulled into the spot behind me. She got out, looked around, and then did something that made the officer pause the video. She took her key and dragged it across her own bumper. The officer rewound it and watched again. Clear as day. She had scratched her own car. Officer, ma'am, can you explain this? Karen, that's not me. That video is fake. Officer, it's time-stamped and clearly shows your vehicle and your license plate. That's you scratching your own bumper. Karen, someone doctored it. He probably has software or something. Me, ma'am, I'm a delivery driver. I don't even know how to edit videos. The officer stood up straight and looked at her with an expression I can only describe as tired disappointment. Officer, ma'am, filing a false police report is a serious offense. So is insurance fraud if you were planning to file a claim. Karen, I wasn't going to file anything. I just wanted him to pay for the damage. Officer, the damage you caused yourself. On camera. Her face went through about 6 different colors in the span of 3 seconds. Red, white, red again, then a shade of purple I didn't know humans could achieve. Karen, this is ridiculous. I'm the victim here. Officer, no ma'am, you're not. I'm giving you a warning today, but I want to be very clear. If this man decides to press charges for attempted fraud, he would have every right to do so. And if I ever catch you pulling something like this again, you will be arrested. Do you understand? She didn't answer. She just stood there with her mouth half open. Officer, do you understand? Karen, yes. Officer, good. I suggest you get in your car and leave. She didn't need to be told twice. She practically ran to her sedan, fumbled with her keys, and peeled out of the parking lot like the ground was on fire. A few of the bystanders who had gathered actually applauded. The officer turned to me. Officer, sorry you had to deal with that. Me, it's fine. I'm just glad I had the dashcam. Officer, smart investment. You'd be surprised how often stuff like this happens. Me, after today, no I wouldn't. He laughed and shook my hand before heading back to his cruiser. I got in my car and just sat there for a minute, processing what had happened. She had scratched her own car, on purpose, to frame a complete stranger, and she probably would have gotten away with it if I hadn't had proof. I drove home that night thinking about all the people who don't have dash cams, all the people who might have been stuck paying for damage they didn't cause, dealing with insurance claims they didn't deserve, all because someone decided to turn a parking lot into a crime scene. The next day, I told my brother the whole story. He didn't call me paranoid anymore. In fact, he asked me for a link to buy the same dashcam. Some lessons you learn the hard way, and some lessons you learn by watching someone else learn them the hard way, right there on a 4-inch screen in a grocery store parking lot. Story 3. I've been waiting tables for about 8 years now. Started when I was 19 to pay my way through community college, and somehow never stopped. I'm not complaining though. The restaurant I work at now is a nice family-owned Italian place. Been in business for over 30 years. Good food, good people, mostly good customers. The owner treats us like family and the tips are decent. I've seen a lot of crazy things in this job, but nothing quite prepared me for what happened last month. It was a Friday night, which means we were packed. Every table full, a 45-minute wait for walk-ins, servers moving fast and trying to keep everyone happy. I had a 6-table section and was managing it pretty well until she sat down. She came in alone, which is fine. Lots of people eat alone. But something about her energy was off from the start. She looked around the restaurant like everything personally offended her. The music was too loud. The lighting was too dim. Her chair wobbled slightly, and she made a huge deal about it, even though it really didn't. I approached her table with my usual smile. Me, good evening, welcome in. Can I start you off with something to drink? Karen, water, and make sure it's cold. The last restaurant I went to served me lukewarm water, like some kind of third world establishment. Me, of course. Ice water coming right up. I brought her the water within 2 minutes. She took one sip and her face twisted up. Karen, this isn't cold enough. Me, I'm sorry about that. I can bring you a fresh glass with extra ice. Karen, you should have done that the first time. I got her another water. More ice this time. She seemed satisfied enough to order her food. Chicken parmesan with a side salad. Pretty standard. The meal went okay for a while. She complained that her salad had too much dressing, even though she asked for extra. She complained that her chicken was too hot, and she had to wait for it to cool down. I just smiled and apologized and tried to make her happy. Then came the refill. Her water glass was empty, so I swung by with the pitcher to top it off. Standard procedure. Free refills, no big deal. She took a sip and slammed the glass down. Karen, are you kidding me right now? Me, is something wrong? Karen, this water is room temperature. I specifically told you I need cold water. Me, I apologize. The pitcher sits out while we're serving, so it can warm up a bit. Let me get you a fresh glass from the dispenser. Karen, you should have thought of that before you poured it. What kind of server are you? Me, again, I'm really sorry. I'll be right back with a cold one. Karen, no, I've had enough of your incompetence. She picked up the glass and threw the water directly in my face. The whole restaurant went quiet. I stood there, water dripping down my nose, completely stunned. In 8 years of waiting tables, nobody had ever done anything like that to me. Karen, maybe that will teach you to do your job properly. Before I could respond, I heard footsteps behind me. My manager had seen the whole thing from across the room. He's a big guy, former military, doesn't tolerate nonsense. He walked right up to the table and stood next to me. Manager, ma'am, you need to leave. Right now. Karen, excuse me. I'm a paying customer. Manager, not anymore. Your meal is canceled. You're banned from this restaurant permanently. Karen, over a little water. Your server was being incompetent. Manager, my server was being professional while you were being abusive. Get out before I call the police. Karen's face went red. She grabbed her purse and stood up, knocking her chair backward. Karen, I'm leaving a review. I'm telling everyone about this place. Manager, feel free. Now leave. She stormed toward the door, but my manager wasn't done. He turned to me. Manager, take the rest of the night off. Full pay. Go home and dry off. Me, are you sure? We're slammed tonight. Manager, we'll manage. You don't deserve to work after being treated like that. As Karen pushed through the front door, something incredible happened. A man at a nearby table started clapping. Then his wife joined in. Then the table next to them. Within seconds, half the restaurant was applauding. I didn't know what to do. I just stood there, still dripping wet, trying not to cry. A woman at my other table flagged me down. Customer, honey, you handled that with more grace than I ever could. Here. She pressed a $50 bill into my hand. Customer, that's just from me. I think you'll find your other tables are feeling generous tonight too. She was right. Before I left, 3 other tables handed me cash directly. I made more in tips that night than I usually make in a whole weekend, and I only worked half my shift. The manager framed the security camera screenshot of Karen getting escorted out. It's hanging in the break room now. She did leave a review. 1 star, called us unprofessional and hostile. The owner responded with a polite summary of what actually happened. That review has 47 comments now, all of them calling her out. Story 4. I've been working at the public library for about 8 years now. It's the kind of job that sounds boring to most people, but I genuinely love it. There's something peaceful about being surrounded by books all day, helping people find information, watching kids discover reading for the first time. It's quiet work, literally, and that suits me just fine. I started here right after I got my library science degree. Most of my friends went into tech or business, but I knew from the start that wasn't for me. I grew up in this library. My mom used to bring me here every Saturday when I was a kid, and I'd spend hours in the children's section, working my way through every series I could find. When a position opened up, it felt like coming home. The job has its challenges, of course. Lost books, broken computers, the occasional person who thinks the library is a good place to have a loud phone conversation. But for the most part, people respect the space. They understand that a library is a shared environment, that keeping your voice down isn't just a rule, but a courtesy to everyone around you. Most people understand that anyway. It was a Tuesday afternoon, one of our busier days because we have a popular story time for toddlers in the morning and a homework help program for middle schoolers in the afternoon. The main reading area was pretty full. College students studying for exams, retirees reading newspapers, a few parents with young children in the picture book section. I was at the front desk, helping a teenager find resources for a history project, when she walked in. She was probably in her early 50s, dressed like she was heading to a business meeting, heels clicking loudly on the floor with every step. She walked straight up to the desk and stood there, arms crossed, foot tapping, even though I was clearly in the middle of helping someone else. I finished up with the teenager and turned to her with my usual smile. Me, hi there. How can I help you today? Karen, I have an overdue book and I need you to find it. Me, of course. Do you have your library card? I can look up your account and see what book is checked out. Karen, I don't have my card with me. Can't you just look it up by my name? Me, I can, but I'll need to see some identification to verify your account. Privacy policy. She sighed like I had asked her to climb a mountain. She dug through her purse, pulled out her driver's license, and slapped it on the counter. I typed her name into the system. Me, okay? I see you have one book overdue. It's called The Art of French Cooking. It was due back 3 weeks ago. Karen. Yes, I know it's overdue. That's why I'm here. I need you to find it. Me, find it? I'm not sure I understand. The book is checked out under your account, so it should be at your home. Karen. Well, it's not. I've looked everywhere. It's not in my house, so obviously someone put it back on the shelf without scanning it. I need you to locate it. Me. If the book was returned, it would show up in our system as checked in. According to this, it's still checked out to you. Karen. Then your system is wrong. The book is here somewhere. Go find it. Me, ma'am. I can't search the entire library for a book that our records show is still in your possession. Is it possible it's somewhere in your home that you haven't checked? A car, maybe, or a bag? Karen, are you calling me a liar? Me, not at all. I'm just trying to help you figure out where the book might be. Karen, I already told you where it is. It's here, in this library, on one of these shelves, and I need you to find it. Me, I understand you're frustrated, but without more information, I can't just locate a book that isn't showing as returned. Maybe if you remember approximately when you might have brought it back, I could check if there was a scanning error that day. Karen, I don't remember the exact day. That's your job. You're supposed to keep track of these things. Her voice was getting louder. A few people at nearby tables looked up from their books. Me, ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to lower your voice. This is a library. Karen, don't tell me to lower my voice. I'm a taxpayer. This is a public building. I can speak however I want. Me, I understand, but other patrons are trying to read and study. If we could just continue this conversation at a normal volume. Karen, what do you want me to do? Whisper? How are you supposed to hear me if I whisper? You know what? I think you're just being lazy. You don't want to do your job. You just want to sit behind that desk and do nothing. Me, ma'am, I'm trying to help you, but I need you to work with me here. Karen, work with you? I've been working with you. I told you the book is here and you need to find it. What? Do you expect me to believe you can't just sense where it is? You work here. You should know where every book is. Me, I'm sorry. Are you asking me to telepathically locate your book? Karen, don't get smart with me. I'm saying you should know this library well enough to find one book. Me, ma'am, we have over 80,000 books in this building. I cannot personally track the location of every single one, especially ones that are still checked out to patrons. Karen, this is unbelievable. I want to speak to your manager. Me, I am the manager on duty today. Karen, then I want to speak to whoever is above you. Me, that would be the library director, and she's not available today. I'd be happy to give you her contact information if you'd like to file a formal complaint. Karen, a formal complaint? I'll give you a formal complaint. She was full on yelling now. Not just loud, but actually shouting in the middle of the library. The college students had stopped pretending to study. The retirees had put down their newspapers. Even the kids in the picture book section were peeking around the shelves to see what was happening. Karen, you people are useless. Absolutely useless. I come in here asking for one simple thing, and you act like I'm asking for the impossible. This is why nobody uses libraries anymore, because the staff are incompetent. I opened my mouth to respond, but before I could say anything, something incredible happened. Every single person in that library, and I mean every single one, turned toward her and let out a collective "H-H-H-H-H-H-H." It wasn't coordinated. Nobody had planned it. It was just the natural, instinctive response of about 40 people who had finally had enough. College students, retirees, parents, even a couple of the middle schoolers from the homework program. All of them, shushing her in perfect unison. The sound echoed through the building. It was the loudest shush I had ever heard in my life. She froze. Her mouth was still open, mid-rant, but no sound came out. Her face went from angry red to embarrassed crimson in about 2 seconds flat. Karen, this is... One of the retirees, a tiny woman who must have been in her 80s, raised a finger to her lips. Elderly woman, SHHH. That was it. That was the final blow. She grabbed her purse, spun around, and marched toward the exit, her heels clicking even louder in the now silent library. She didn't look back. She didn't say another word. She just pushed through the doors and was gone. For a moment, nobody moved. Then one of the college students started clapping. Slowly at first, then others joined in. Even the little kids were clapping, though they probably didn't fully understand why. I just stood there behind the desk, trying not to laugh. The elderly woman who had delivered the final shush walked up to the counter with a book in her hand. Elderly woman, I'd like to check this out, please. Me, of course. I scanned her book, still trying to process what had just happened. Me, thank you for that, by the way. Elderly woman, some people have no respect. This is a library, not a stadium. She took her book and shuffled off to find a seat. The rest of my shift was wonderfully uneventful. People read, people studied, people whispered when they needed to ask questions. Normal library behavior. I never saw that woman again. I like to think she eventually found her cookbook wedged between her couch cushions or buried under a pile of mail, right where she left it. But honestly, I don't really care where it ended up. What I do care about is that for one beautiful moment, an entire library stood together in defense of the one sacred rule we all share. Quiet, please.